What is your NSFW secret that you are proud of? On our honeymoon, my wife gave me a blowjob while I was standing at the window to our hotel room, looking out over Niagara Falls, Canadian side. To this day, I'm proud to say that I've received a BJ while looking down on one of the natural wonders of the world. Edit. For those suggesting that I add the remaining natural wonders to my bucket list, I'm afraid I have to disappoint you. A bout with cancer and complications from a 22-hour surgery to remove the tumor has resulted in some plumbing problems, among which are inability to get an erection. So, while I have some very nice memories of sex, that's about it. There won't be any new ones anytime soon. I'm a hip dysarticulate amputee on my left side, meaning they took the entire leg. I just have a fleshy lump there, right up next to my crotch. This means I get to say my D is longer than my left leg as a factual statement. There are very few good things about being an amputee, so I take what I can get. Edit. I've never experienced this level of upvoting and positive commenting. You guys have cheered me up when I wasn't in the best of moods. I finally found out what positive karma is good for on this site. A smile and shared laughter. Thanks for being a positive part of my day. I'll pay it forward whenever possible. D. Edit 2. Here's a picture of my hardware so folks understand what hip dysarticulate means. Here's a pic when I was nearly dead. I'm not conscious and I'm that big because the infection that was killing me inflamed my entire body. Here's me now. I do have some of my right leg still. I also have an artificial hip as you saw in the x-ray. The artificial hip will help me with the prosthetics I'm getting fitted for. I once farted as I got on a packed train in London. I knew it was a killer but played it cool. The doors close behind me and 10 seconds later a girl sitting next to her boyfriend hits him and shouts, "You're disgusting." Sorry for my bad English. It's my second language. Not sure if this fits here. Not proud of the moment, but I am proud of the result. Me and my wife had kids and decided that that was enough children. We got married after the kids were born and went on a honeymoon. We got drunk and had sex without protection. The next day we panicked a bit and went to a drug shop and got a regret pill. My wife took it at the hotel room. Crisis cancelled. After this we thought nothing about it and continued with the honeymoon. Like half an hour later she gave me a blowjob. She never ever gives me blowjobs as she chokes easily, so this was a real treat for me. When I came hard, and the cum shot landed at the back of her mouth, and she puked all over the floor and my D. We laughed it off and joked about it for the rest of the vacation. A few weeks after, when we came home, she did not get her period. We got anxious and it turned out she was pregnant. The only time we had sex without protection was at that hotel room. When she puked after the blowjob, she must have puked out the pill as well. So, now we have 3 kids. The youngest is as amazing as the other 2, and I am proud to have him, but he must never ever find out how he was conceived. A few times a year, I translate Hante Jap more than Eng so that other people can enjoy the story too. My first blowjob was from 2 girls at the same time. I think I set the bar a little too high a little too early. My GF put a grapefruit on my wang once. I have to delete this before she sees it. I once had to call into court as a witness for an altercation that happened at my work. I was placed under oath over the phone. My girlfriend at the time blew me the entire time. I used to have bulimia, and after years of self-induced vomiting, have no gag reflex whatsoever. Seriously, when I get with a guy and he finds that out, the reaction is priceless. I ducked my then girlfriend now wife on the conference room table of an old job one night. Boss held a training class and there the next day. Edit. I am so very thankful that, to my knowledge, none of my family or friends are on Reddit. My wife would be horrified to know thousands of people had seen this post. I rode a bike for a 40-mile journey on LSD in Tokyo during the height of cherry blossom season. I'm currently in a friends with benefit situation with one of my senior manager. It started with a drunken night out and now we duck pretty much every day. It's quite awkward in the office because she is my boss's boss and during our business review meetings my face goes red when she asks me something. Once, I hung a poster by standing on a rolly chair. When I was in college, I lived in a dorm that had a pool table room. One night, I was drunk with my then boyfriend, and we stumbled in there at around 3 AM to have sex. We ended up stripping down totally, not really caring about our nudity since the dorm was dead that night. While we were doing the deed, we ended up on the ground on the non-door facing side of the table, and almost immediately, someone opens the door and turns the light on. X and I freeze. I turn my head to look under the table and see their feet freeze as they see our clothes scattered everywhere. Not a noise was made. No one moved. Complete awkwardness for what felt like forever. Aka about 7 seconds. The other guy just turned the light off and backed out. And we never got caught. Edit. Okay. We got caught obviously. But I more meant that they never found out who we were. Trust me. We would have heard it from someone in the dorm. I once made my college girlfriend scream so much and so loud during an orgasm that her downstairs neighbor, a kind, elderly woman, came upstairs, rapped on the door and insisted that if she didn't hear my GF's voice immediately, she was gonna call the cops. We both lay in bed, laughing as my GF reassured her that she was quite well. Thank you. After that, she tended to cram a pillow or stuffed animal in her mouth to muffle the sound effects. Lol. In high school, my girlfriend blew me in her church's storage room in front of a big statue of Jesus. The Lord was kind that day. AskReddits like this always makes me wonder if I just have an exceedingly boring life or if people are just phenomenal liars. The first time I came home on leave from the army, I hadn't seen my wife in 7 months. We stayed at my parents' house. She had moved in with her mother in that time to save money. My parents went out the first night we were there to see a movie without us. In a kind of wink wink nod nod situation. I had been in an incredibly stressful environment for 7 months without seeing my wife. I was also now highly physically fit. I ducked that girl so hard I broke my cherry wood bed frame and the bed collapsed underneath us. I was pretty busy that week and forgot to fix it before I left for Germany. The first phone call to my dad, he said, "Oh yeah." Laughing, "I fixed your bed frame for you. I don't know what you did to that poor girl, but I hope she's alright." More laughing. My bed is broken from having sex. It was already a little broken before from something else. But recently, in the middle of fun time, my bed caved in. It was hilarious, but at the same time it scared the shit out of me. I pee sitting down. I can duck a girl while wholly supporting her with my arms. I used to be overweight and pretty weak, so I'm pretty proud of this and have no one to tell I roll without coming off like a douche. I masturbated and finished 7 times in a day once. I fingered my GF while we were in a bus. The bus was quite full, and she was the one who dared me to try something naughty, and she almost got us caught too. My ex kisses the guy she left me for with the same tongue she used to stick up my ass. It's a secret pride that makes me happy. I nutted in No Nut November. My butt plug collection. I've got 25 unique plugs. More than what is your NSFW secret? Woohoo, my time to contribute has come. More than that you are proud of? I guess I'll just read the comments this time. I've been part of a threesome, so that's neat. Picked up a hooker at a bar, didn't pay. Didn't get robbed. Same story again with another one, except she didn't want to use a condom, so I for the first time said no to 6. I'm not only really good at giving blowjobs, but I really enjoy it as well. I love pleasing my partner. I can also orgasm without even touching myself, and I have a very high 6 drive. I'd be happy to have 6 give blowjobs every single day. Got a hand job from my GF while her parents were driving us back from Disney World. I once fisted 2 guys at the same time. It's not even a turn on for me, but I was drunk as duck, and after a night out a friend asked me to go to this sex dungeon. I was wandering around the rooms and stumbled on 2 guys with their asses in the air. When in Rome, I once shagged a girl who worked in post delivery. While I was signing the delivery, she said something in my house smelled nice. I had just made coffee and wanted to offer her a cup, so I said, "I know. You wanna come in?" Which she did. She grabbed my crotch within 10 seconds and then my brain went duck it. Let's do this I guess. She didn't get to drinking any coffee though. The other night this guy I'm seeing and I had such great sex that after we climaxed at the end we literally fell asleep right away. I woke up an hour later literally still on top of him. I thought that was just something that happened in romance novels. I used to give my ex orgasms so hard that she would pass out for up to 2 minutes or so mid-coitus. Felt good man. I've had sex with a few pornsters. A couple of them do escorting at a relatively acceptable price and a few years ago I decided to indulge. I don't know how to describe it. Best experience in my entire life. They literally made me discover a new level of pleasure in sex. I'm a pretty vanilla guy, didn't do anything out of the ordinary with them. But holy crap, this is something I obviously won't talk about in public, but it rocked my life in so many ways. An incredible experience for sure. Was offered anal sex by a sales rep who looked like thin Jessica Simpson and turned her down because I had recently started dating the woman who would be my wife. Kissed me in front of the whole bar, bit my ducking lip, and when I pulled her out of there to talk her down, she grabbed my junk and told me where she'd like to put it. Stayed true to my girl, married her, and we're celebrating our 6th anniversary this year. I put a miniature top hat on my erectly and snapped a photo with the disposable camera that my platoon sergeant left in the Humvee. 5 years 3 months clean from heroin today. Got my D sucked dry by a girl within 10 minutes of ducking meeting her. I don't know how I did it, but I've only told one friend. Would like to tell more people friends, but I'd DK if they'd believe something so random. Edit. Lol, I didn't even get her name or number. This happened recently and I'm still kicking myself for it, LMAO. Had the best sex to date when a friend of mine said he'd give me a ride home after a long day of work. The car ride was long but immensely fun because of our playful bantering. We swapped sex stories and I could count on having a great conversation with him because of our common interests. He came inside my small apartment and one thing led to another. Basically, we went a few rounds. Tried many positions that had me bending in awkward angles but felt really good. And we eventually moved my mattress so much that it flipped on us. Oh. And during his more rougher goes, we broke my curtain rod. He also enjoyed my impromptu twerking during doggy, which I had never done before but felt so damn good, so planned to do again. Also learned that I could squirt that day. All in all, it was an amazing night. I'm really good at unhooking bras with one hand, although weirdly it has to be with my non-dominant hand. My girlfriend and I like to have occasional three-ways with various girls. So much fun. Edit. Our favorite thing is for her to put on a strap-on and we spit roast them and high-five. Cracks all three of us up every time. I turned my lesbian friend a few times. In her words, she's attracted to girls and John. Nothing like hearing you're the first guy to give me an orgasm in over a decade to boost the old self-esteem. Bonus fact, she has perfect tits. No real reason to add that. No real reason to leave it out. Edit. I know what bisexual is, and I'm not forcing my own definition of this girl's sexuality on her. All you social justice warriors can put your little boners away. By my friend's own definition, she is super duper gay. I once fingered a chick on the beach without even talking to her. I just looked at her. She sort of nodded. We started kissing. I fingered her. She grabbed my cock and started rubbing. Then we parted ways after 3 minutes or so. If you are out there, unidentified beach girl from 1996, I thank you. I didn't wear my hard hat and high-vis jacket around a construction site for a whole day. It was very unsafe for work. My high school girlfriend cheated on me. The night everything came to light, everyone hated her for it. Ended up sleeping with her sister and her two best friends separately over the course of about 12 hours the next day. At one point in the year after my divorce, I had enough invitations from women I knew. I could have filled an entire week with nightly hookups. 2 were married friends of me and my ex. 3 were friends of theirs that they had told about me. 1 was a cashier from work who was half my age. The other one escapes me, but I believe it was someone who was at a party who basically told me to hit her up on FB. Edit. The vasectomy, that and a clear provenance, were total green flags apparently. I once went to dinner with a girl I was dating at the time and her mom. The restaurant was packed. We ended up taking one of the last available tables. I fingered the girl under the table. Pretty sure the mom knew, as the girl dropped her silverware twice and kicked the table once. She was trying her best not to make a sound, but let out a slight peep a couple times. The first time, the mom looked at her confused, then kind of looked at me, and I shrugged unassumingly. The second time, the mom cut her eyes sharp at her, then looked at me and kind of grinned, and I sort of let a little bit of a grin slip back at her. She never said anything about it, but I'm pretty sure she knew what was going on. Edit. Just want to point out, this is a true story. I broke a sink in a bar bathroom while having sex with my now wife back when we were in college. After being in a miserable monogamous relationship for the entirety of my adult life, I am finally with someone who is more sexually compatible with me. 2 weeks ago, one of her close friends, who she had hooked up with in the past, came over and we had a great night out dancing. When we got home, my GF crashed, but I wanted to duck, so I asked my GF if she would be okay if I had sex with her friend. She said go for it, so I did, and her friend and I had some awesome sex. The following day the two of them were discussing it and they both agree I am great in bed. This is a big confidence booster for me because the woman I was previously with for 12 years was very sexually repressed and we would have sex once every 3-6 months. And she was the only person I had ever had sex with. IDK, it's hard to explain in text, but I feel more sexually liberated and as a result happier than I ever have in my life. I've been wanting to tell someone, but no one in real life wants to hear about all the awesome sex you're having, and no one on the internet ever believes you when you talk about it. And it's not that I want to brag or anything, I'm just so happy and I wish I could express that happiness to people. In high school, me and my best friend challenged a girl to a competition on who could come the most in one day, using an honor system. I lost at 7 times. Buddy got to 11, and she beat us both at 26. To this day I regret not stating in the rules no vibrators allowed. I had a threesome where all parties involved were actually attracted to one another. I was on a date with a girl probably out of my league. We eventually made it to a park and strolled onto a small bridge. There was a rushing stream below us, and it was nighttime, so no one was there next to us. Hearing all the water below really made me have to pee, like, really bad. So as both of us were leaning over the rail watching the stream, I quietly unzip and whip out my willy. I pee down a support to minimize the splashing. The relief I felt was orgasmic. 8/10 would do again. I sometimes turn up to work high as it. It's such a chill place to work, I don't think they notice mind as long as I get my work done. My wife and I put a penny in a bank every time we have sex. I know the exact number of times I've had sex in my life because I've only ever had sex with my wife. I have a wheat penny tattoo on my right leg that I got on our anniversary, I think 6th year. We also know how many times it took to conceive our 2 kids because we used nickels for one and dimes for the other. We count pennies every anniversary and write down totals and average for the year. Some people know this story, including friends at work, but it's not something I'd say is 100% safe for work. I have achieved the male dream of a FFFM foursome. However, it was on a twin bed in a hotel, which meant that the logistics were intensely complicated and I ended up falling on the floor. 2 of the women were bisexual and dating one another, and they were so busy with my wife it was nearly 30 seconds before anyone realized I had disappeared. Perfect combination of I am a god and I am a complete jackass. I posted a little bit about this just a few days back, but I am a dom in my late 40s and have a wonderful poly marriage and 2 GFs. All are in their 30s, submissive and all are being played together at times. Thai, English and Chinese. I pinch myself at times and hope it lasts until I can't get it up anymore. I got very lucky and sometime I want to be able to tell people, let's face it, brag, but mostly I keep my mouth shut and soldier on. I write pretty raunchy literotica, linked to my stories. I've had a few people asking, I wrote erotica and dirty fanfic in high school for money. It helped me grow as a writer and paid for my needs. I charge based on length and content. Base charges: 5-10 pages, $8, 11-15, $10, 16 plus, $13. Content charges: vanilla, free, BDSM, plus $2, furry, plus $3. I'm on a list now, $5. Hilariously enough, I was voted most likely to write a bestseller in the yearbook. The teachers were confused as to why my class laughed so hard when I was given the certificate. Edit. Formatting. And had an awakening that I needed to live for me. Proceeded to engage in a week-long sex fest at an adult club. I fingered 2 of my sister's best friends at the same time in a field. Akimbo style. I'm a male nurse student. When I had a 2 months internship in a hospital, I worked together with some nurses who were both male and female. Majority was female, of course. I was also working together with 2 other students on the department. The 3 of us each had 1 mentor nurse. They gave us grades. One day I had a late shift with another student and we actually didn't talk much since we worked together. Well, one nurse said we had to check on a patient who rang his little bell. We did what we had to do and made some eye contact while doing it, and that made it happen, I guess. We left the room and she went the other way from the nursing post, and I asked where she was heading to. Come with me and find out, she said. I followed, already thinking of awesome stuff would happen, and what do you know? We went into a storeroom, locked the door and had awesome sex. From that day we had sex for like 4 times until our internship was done. After that we had a friend with benefits relationship for a good 4 months until she got a boyfriend. Summer 1998, I had 2 FWB girlfriends who knew about each other and didn't care. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get them both in bed at the same time. Best summer of my life. It's good to have a rep for keeping your mouth shut in a tourist town. I suck my husband off on camera for extra income.